Have you guys ever wondered why you wear out your grip so fast? So maybe some of you players out there have a big thumb imprint on your grip. You feel like you're muscling the club through impact. You feel like you're putting a lot of effort into this club. Your hands almost get tight throughout the swing, but it's not relating to a lot of club head speed. So how is it that some players can generate 120 miles an hour club head speed with their driver, and you look down at their grip and they look brand new? There's no wear spots, there's no steering of the club with their hands and arms. And then other players feel like they doing everything they can, putting so much force into this club, and the club's only swinging 80 miles an hour. We're going to talk about the difference between an effortless golf swing, how you can put speed into this club and make it do the work for you, versus a very effortful golf swing that doesn't have a lot of speed. And it really comes down to a couple of things. So we're not going to get too sciencey in this video. We're going to kind of break it down into the layman's terms here. But there's a force. Before we get started, think about everything that creates speed in the golf swing is just where I'm putting force in this handle, how much force I'm putting into here, and which way it's going. And that's what we're going to talk about in this swing. So if I put a lot of force into that handle into the right direction, I can get a lot of speed. If I put force into it the wrong direction, or not enough force, or at the wrong time, then I'm not going to get very much speed. So it sounds pretty complicated, but I'm going to break it down very, very easy. So first, let's talk about the length of the swing. If I have a very short swing, so let's imagine that I don't get a very good power turn. That's one of the big things that we talk about in the top speed golf system. I have to get my shoulders, we can imagine this is the center of my stance. I got to get my shoulders rotating until my shoulders are at least 90 degrees. PGA Tour players are going to be a little bit more than that. The more I go, the longer of an arc I'm creating, the longer the distance that my hands are traveling, the longer the distance that my shoulders are traveling, and the longer the distance that the club head is traveling. So it's just like a drag racer. If I'm pulling my drag car back to where I have an entire mile to accelerate, I can accelerate much more smoothly, and I can reach a higher top end speed. I can go faster at the end of this drag strip. If I bring that down to a quarter mile or a 16th of a mile, say, I don't have very much time. My car better be really powerful, better be able to accelerate really fast to get that speed. A weaker car with a lot more room can reach a higher top speed than a much more powerful car with a short space or short amount of room. Same thing applies in the golf swing. I got to get those shoulders to turn, got to get those arms back to allow them to build speed in the golf swing. So if you feel like you're putting a lot of effort in the golf swing, check two things for me. Number one, check and see how far the shoulders are rotating. If your shoulders are only getting to about right here, not getting to a good full 90-degree turn, then you're going to feel like you're putting a lot of effort in the swing. You're going to feel like you're pushing this club as hard as you can in the downswing. What I want you to feel like, go ahead and let those hips rotate a little bit more. Let your weight shift a little bit more to the right, and do some drills where you put a club across your shoulder, get that good full turn, and then get that full turn coming all the way on through. That's going to allow you to build that speed more effortlessly. The next thing we're going to talk about here is in my downswing, you'll notice that every single pro player, virtually every single pro player that's ever played, as they start their downswing, that club shaft starts to shallow out. And the reason for this is, a great example of a very big extreme of this is if we look at Sergio Garcia. His club gets very shallow, very flat. And if you can imagine, if I was to take my hand from here with this club back in here, flatter position, and I was to just pull my hand straight toward the target, watch what the club head does. It whips out, it accelerates forward, and it starts to close the face on its own. This is just a physics thing. It's called the moment of force. We won't get into any of that today, but if I just pull that club face forward, it's going to automatically close down and accelerate toward the ball. Now let's imagine that I'm very steep. Let's say that my hand was here. Now my balancing point of the club, that's the point where you can feel in the club head is kind of this center of mass, or where the club would balance, or you can just imagine as the club head itself. Let's say it's outside of my hands, and I'm going to pull that club straight down toward the target again. It's going to come back and hit me in the leg. It's moving away from the target and opening up. So I have to then steer the club down with my hands. I have to take my thumb and my forefinger. If I'm too steep in this transition and it's wanting to do this, I have to steer it and manipulate that club to get it squared back up. So we talk about this as called the move in our top speed golf system. And I go over a lot of drills on how to work on the move and get that shallowing in transition. But if you're feeling that, if you watch your own video and you notice that you're fairly steep on the downswing, that's going to cause big problems with consistency and speed. So for today's video, what I would want you to do, just as a little practice swing in your living room, Let's imagine that this club gets shallower here. I want you to feel this left wrist nice and flat, even a little bit bowed, like you're taking a throttle on a motorcycle and turning it this way. And then I want you to shallow out that club, and from there, I want you to just go ahead and swing through. So we're gonna go backswing, halfway down, we're gonna pause, get that club flatter. You notice my right elbow is really tucked in as I do this. And then I want you to swing all the way on through. Just a little bit goes a long way. So it's gonna be somewhere in the ballpark of this when I'm really swinging. But I'm just gonna flatten that out a little bit and then swing all the way on through with that club. So what's gonna happen, so I wanna get even a little bit more in detail, my hand's gonna come down, it's gonna turn up and left as my club's coming down, and that's gonna help it accelerate on through there. You may feel that in your swing, and again, we go over that in a lot more detail. I don't have enough time in this video, but the move section is the one you wanna go to on our website. Excuse me. The last one here, so we talked about powerful turn, creates a lot of room. That's the power turn in the top speed golf system. Talked about shallowing that club, that gets the club kicking forward and releasing. That's what we call the move in the top speed golf system. And then lastly here, we'll talk about what gets the club to accelerate forward as we're coming through. And that's when I talked about turning those hands up and in. So when I'm swinging, let's imagine this is my contact point, there's my golf ball. My hands are gonna reach a low point when I still have some lag in this golf swing. And then from there, as I continue to rotate my body around, my left shoulder comes up and around, my hands are gonna be putting force going this way, up over my left shoulder. And that's gonna, since that club is lagging behind that, you can imagine it doing this and accelerating forward to really whip on through contact. A great way to feel this, if you're jumping a rope, you put that snap right at the bottom as the rope's going under your feet. You don't feel like you're pulling constantly the entire time. I want that snap to be right when it's under my feet. If I was doing that with a golf swing and I was spinning a jump rope like this, I want it to snap right there at the bottom. That only happens with that jump rope when I turn my hand back up, when I change that direction that I'm putting force into the club. Same thing's happening here in golf. I get that lag, my hands reach their low point, and then I want that snap to be at the bottom of the swing. That's what's gonna allow me the very high swing speed. That's how I'm gonna hit those drives over 300 yards. These days, 320, 330 yards, and really get all that speed in there. So work on those three pieces. Number one, big turn. Number two, shallow the club. And number three, as I'm coming through contact, I gotta have that lag, I gotta have that built up, and then I gotta get that snap as I'm coming on through there by changing the direction of my hands or turning that corner back up. That's gonna get me the ultimate speed. That's gonna allow me to get tons and tons of distance no matter how big I am. All right guys, hit them well. See y'all soon. All right guys, hope y'all really enjoyed this video. If you did, I got an awesome bonus for you. We all want lots of lag in our golf swing. It's so crucial to have tons of lag to be able to get that high club head speed and to be able to drive it past your friends. I'm gonna play a preview from one of my most important golf lag videos. If you're on a desktop device, you can go ahead and click the link that pops up on your screen. If you're on a phone or a tablet, you go ahead and click the iCard and you're gonna get instant access to that video. Plus, you're gonna get instant access to 5 videos from our Top Speed Golf system. Good luck to you guys. Go out there and rip the ball. Hi guys, and welcome back. I'm Ballard, and in today's video we're going to talk about one of the absolute worst drills for creating lag. It's a very common drill that I see, and in this drill what we're going to do is we're going to set the wrist very early to create an angle of lag, and then we're going to try to hold this throughout the swing. It's one of the worst things that you can do to build lag. I'm going to talk about the science behind why this is the case, and I'm also going to give you a great drill to help you improve your lag, all in this video. Let's go ahead and get started. If I do it this way versus holding that position, exact same thing happens when we're building lag in the golf swing. So what we want to do is throughout the swing, I want to have a very low and wide takeaway. So I'm not going to set my wrist early at all. If you look at a lot of the top players, you look at Adam Scott, very wide takeaway, not very much wrist set at all. You look at Rory McIlroy, look at Tiger Woods. All these players are using a wide takeaway and not getting very much wrist set, so that later in the swing, as we start down, we can increase this wrist set, and we're really only going to max out this angle of lag for a split second in the downswing. Okay, so a 3-step drill here. Now, as we get started with this, I want to remind you that the fulcrum in this golf club for getting a massive amount of lag is right at the end of the golf club. This is where I want my hinge point to be.